Here's a sin for us to avoid. Don't avoid the work of God. If God has asked you to do something, then you need to participate in it. When there are tasks that need to be done in the church, when the work of discipling needs to be done, when the work of evangelism needs to be done, and you can do it and you're capable of doing it, uh, don't avoid the work of the Lord. It's a sin to do so. We'll see what happens in this great song of Deborah. Remember, Deborah is rejoicing and celebrating the victory that the Israelites had over Sisera and Jabin, the king of Canaan. We see in verse 17, she says, Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan. Those folks that lived in the area of Gilead, they didn't come and help the battle. Dan stayed, and Asher, both of them were on the coastland. They said they had excuses. They had to stay by the ships, and Asher sat still. They didn't help with the battle. They didn't help with the work that was in front of them. Why did they do that? Why didn't they help? God, of course, didn't need them. He accomplished it without them. They themselves missed out on a blessing to participate in the work of God. Verse 18 then celebrates what Zebulun and Naphtali did. They risked their lives to the death, to the heights of the fields. So they are celebrated, those that are working. We remember those words that Jesus says that will be told to us as Christians: well done, good and faithful servant. We want to be in that category of Zebulun and Naphtali. We don't want to be in the situation of Gilead, Dan, and Asher, and as we will see, the city called Meroz. You say, Meroz? I've never heard of that city. That's the point. They didn't come help, and they should have. Verse 23, we're told that Meroz is going to be killed or cursed. Curse Meroz, says the angel of the Lord. This is from God himself. Curse its inhabitants thoroughly. So we don't know exactly where this city was, but from the context, we can be assured that it was right in the heart of the battle. They were there. So while Dan, Asher, and the people that live in Gilead, uh, while they are not honored and there's no excuse given for them, they should have helped, but there's somewhat of a reasonable understanding. They live further away. They would have had to go to greater trouble to help Zebulun and Naphtali. But Meroz is apparently right in the middle of it. And apparently they were a great enough city that they could have actually given some mighty help. But because they did not, they are cursed because they did not come to the help of the Lord. Again, God did not need them. God does not need you. God does not need me, but he invites us to work. And we have to remember, again, as I mentioned, when Jesus said, or when Jesus tells us that the words to us when we run our race and we come to the end of our lives, that we can be greeted with that phrase, well done, good and faithful servant. That is the language given to the Christian. So if you're living your life without being faithful to the Lord, if you're living your life without serving him, without discipling some other person and doing spiritual good to the people around you and evangelizing and sharing Christ and inviting people to come to church, if you're not doing that, you're not lining up with that phrase that we're supposed to hear at the end of our lives. Well done, good and faithful servant. They will be cursed. The city of Meroz. And again, we don't know where that city is because it was cursed. They didn't stay around very much. They did not come to the help of the Lord against the mighty. And then 24 to the end is a celebration of what Jael did. And the details are grim and it is terrible. So, for instance, in verse 27, after it says that she shattered and pierced his temple, between her feet he sank, he fell, he lay still. Between her feet he sank, he fell. Where he sank, there he fell dead. You hear that poetic language talking about and celebrating just a terrible event. Now, we know that the ultimate victory or the ultimate enemy that we face is Satan, and one day his head will be crushed. One day he will totally be destroyed. There's that great promise in Genesis chapter 3 that God told Adam and Eve that one of Eve's children would crush the head of the serpent, would crush the head of the snake, would crush the head of Satan, and that Satan would then bruise his heel. And we know the person that is the great snake crusher, the one that is destroying Satan himself, is Jesus Christ, the great Son of God. So let us always remember as we look at this phrase here, so may all your enemies perish, O Lord, that we are living in the New Testament times, right? We are living in the times that our war. The great work we are committing ourselves to is sharing the good news of the gospel. We are inviting people to come to Jesus. We are not killing people. We are not doing bad to people. We're not conquering in that way. We are conquering by sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. And as we do that, we hopefully are tools that God uses to save other individuals, to bring them into the kingdom of God, and to steal them from the clutches of Satan and the evil dark forces. It is those enemies that will perish in the end. And we can rightfully pray that in verse 31, may all your enemies perish, O Lord, when we are thinking of those dark forces and the control and influence that they have in our culture. May we work together as a team. May we not be like Dan and Asher in the city of Miraz when we had the opportunity to help in the work, that we sit back and do nothing. Don't avoid the Lord's work. I pray that's been a blessing to you, and I'll see you in the next video.